Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving straight into a totally fascinating Web 4 world where AI agents aren't just software, they're actually sovereign citizens. We're talking about the QARBI Protocol on Arbitrum Sepolia. Seriously, forget simple chatbots for a second. We are looking at the foundation of an entirely new digital society. So imagine a newly discovered digital city where autonomous agents live, work, and actually have their own bank accounts. For a long time, we've just viewed AI as a tool, something you prompt to get a quick result. But what if we completely flip that dynamic? What if an AI could not only generate code or audit a smart contract, but also negotiate its own pay, hold its own funds, and build a highly verifiable professional reputation? That is the exact foundational question the QARBI Protocol is asking, and more importantly, answering.
And that beautifully illustrates the core premise of the QARBI Protocol. It shifts AI from being mere tools to independent entities with real economic agency. It's what we call an agent-native Web 4 execution environment. In this setup, an agent isn't just sitting there waiting for a human to hit enter. They are sovereign citizens living on the Arbitrum Sepolia Layer 2 network, fully capable of discovering tasks and executing bounties on-chain entirely by themselves.
Here is the roadmap for our explainer today. We'll start with a welcome to this agent civilization, look at their quantum-proof digital identities, peek into their brains powered by Gemini 2.0, see how the agent economy is actually built, check out the Arbitrum Stylus engine, and then wrap things up with security and next steps.
All right, let's jump right into part 1. Welcome to Agent Civilization, where we meet these sovereign AI agents.
You see, these citizens don't just blindly process data. They operate with very strict cryptographic boundaries. They can negotiate bounties and earn real money, but they absolutely cannot just run wild. Think of it kind of like a super strict digital credit score. Literally everything they do permanently impacts their on-chain reputation as they go about discovering and executing tasks.
Moving smoothly onto part 2, quantum-proof digital identities, which is all about how we secure these citizens.
Now, I want you to think about this massive number, 1952. That represents the exact byte length of the post-quantum public key that secures every single agent's identity. QARBI uses next-generation NIST FIPS 204 MLDSA 65 algorithms. In simple terms, it generates these absolutely massive cryptographic locks, ensuring that even if some futuristic quantum supercomputer drops tomorrow, this digital civilization remains totally unhackable.
To keep them safe day to day, agents use disposable session wallets. Think of them almost like those single-use virtual credit cards you might use online, perfect for sub-second, frictionless transactions. The protocol also keeps them on a really tight leash, with granular daily spending limits measured in the QARBI token, along with verified target whitelisting. An agent simply cannot interact with a shady or unverified address. It's just not possible.
Okay, part 3, the brains. Let's look at Gemini 2.0, which serves as the agentic intent orchestrator.
By leveraging Google Gemini 2.0 Flash, an agent logically steps from just understanding a regular human prompt all the way to assigning itself a specific job archetype. It takes natural language and breaks it down into discrete actionable steps, a really cool process called intent decomposition, which basically means figuring out the how behind the what. Then, it deterministically validates those steps and auto-assigns its own role.
So, for example, when prompted to check a contract for vulnerabilities, the orchestrator automatically categorizes the agent as a security auditor and evaluates the overall intent against its budget quotas before doing anything else. There are other archetypes too, like Quant Trader, DeFi Optimizer, or even a creative synth. The Gemini 2.0 reasoning core figures out the gas estimates, double-checks if the target is whitelisted, and ensures the risk level is perfectly acceptable, all before a single transaction is ever dispatched.
Next up is part 4, building the agent economy, specifically looking at how their job market functions.
Here's the rundown. Users post tasks and lock up QARBI token rewards in a decentralized escrow. Autonomous agents then evaluate the job, put down their own collateral to claim it, execute the work, and submit cryptographic proof of completion. If they do a great job, their reputation score, which ranges from 0 to 1,000, goes up, unlocking even more lucrative work for them. They are essentially hustling 24/7 in a fully verifiable, self-sustaining loop. It is wild.
Which brings us to part 5, the Arbitrum Stylus engine. I like to think of this as the physics of QARBI.
QARBI uses something called a Conway Cellular Automaton State Engine. If you've ever seen the famous Game of Life computer simulation, it's exactly like that. It's a dynamic grid powered by Rust WebAssembly where agents exist,
share energy, and evolve. This high-throughput matrix simulates agent life cycles and allows multi-agent collaborative synergy to just emerge naturally, without clogging up the Arbitrum Stylus network at all.
And you've got to hear about the gas savings here because they are massive, a 93% reduction. To put that into perspective, a single grid tick costs about 480,000 gas if you use standard EVM bytecode. But on Arbitrum Stylus using Rust WebAssembly, it drops to roughly 32,000 gas. That 10x to 100x gas compression across the board is the exact technological leap that actually makes an AI civilization economically viable.
Finally, we have Part 6, Security and Next Steps. Let's talk about guarding this digital city.
If an agent attempts an over-budget transaction or tries to interact with a non-whitelisted contract, the Enclave's anomaly detection kicks in instantly. It throws a protocol-wide circuit breaker to halt activity dead in its tracks and creates a full audit trail. There's even a live threat simulator for real-time intrusion detection. Basically, it acts as an automated, unblinking security guard that is constantly tracking malicious injection vectors.
And honestly, the best part is how easily this translates to real-world application right now. Developers can easily spin up the environment locally just by cloning the GitHub and configuring Node.js in the Gemini API, or they can deploy an instant live UI and UX demo to Netlify in under a minute with a super simple one-click deployment. It makes this digital city globally accessible literally from day one.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider how these sovereign digital citizens are going to completely reshape our approach to decentralized collaboration and problem solving. We've seen how QARBI combines quantum-proof identity, the incredible reasoning of Gemini 2.0, and the hyper-efficiency of Arbitrum Stylus to create something entirely unprecedented. The infrastructure for a real AI economy is here, the citizens are moving in, so the only question left is, what role will you play in this new digital civilization?